elections in Taraba State. I'm joined by the Taraba State Governor, Darius Ishaku. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 10. Your party got 2 senatorial seats, I believe 3 out of the 5 House of Reps seats. And of course, your preferred candidate also is now governor-elect. Let's begin with your reaction to the just concluded general election and how the people have voted, bearing in mind that the NNPP candidate is now alleging some form of manipulation in the process.
The election was peacefully carried out. It was a good, peaceful election all the way through, and all the processes went on very peacefully. We're happy. The police, the military, and all the security agents were on top of their work. And it was a process of the counting and the collation that took a lot of time. But everything went smoothly otherwise.
Before the election, Your Excellency, there were talks about how many of the main contenders were in breach of what is called the traditional zoning arrangement, which has ensured some form of political balance in Taraba since 1999. How would you say, or rather, what would you say were the fundamental factors that determined how the people voted this time?
We overcame the zoning because that was purely a party affairs. We were able to overcome it, and voting was generally spread across the whole state. You know that traditionally, Taraba is a PDP state. And so the voting, and if you look at the voting, the counting was spread. It's across the whole of the state, which was okay. And you can see that retired Colonel Kefa Sabu had a very, very good acceptance across the state. He got 257,000 votes as against the 206 of ANPP. So the voting was well done, and it was all across the state. The acceptability well accepted across the state. So I think it was a welcome, a very good winning for the PDP.
They say Taraba holds the record of being the only PDP northern state that is yet to be taken by another party. How difficult was it this time, saying that you lost your senatorial bid in the Taraba South senatorial election?
Yes, I did. Well, you know, every election has its own peculiarities. You can't say all the time you will win. But in my case, there was conspiracies, a lot of it. And I didn't want to bother about my own not scaling through. Because if I bother about it, it will affect our own election of the gubernatorial. And I treasure the gubernatorial more than my own personal going to the Senate. And so, and even my Senate, it wasn't completely concluded. But I felt I needed the time to fight and make sure that my successor comes from PDP. If I waste the time talking about the senatorial, we might have not gotten to this level.
How do you react to the opinion that the senatorial election was the people's verdict on your performance, particularly in that part of the state?
Absolutely is not. Absolutely, I can tell you it's not. In fact, even if I had fared as a senator in the north or in the central zone, I will win. As I told you, there was conspiracy between the parties and the candidates. As the time I went to election, there are 2 or 3 candidates of APC, all campaigning against me and other parties. And the electorate were all confused. They didn't know where and how to vote. And so all these things compounded the electoral victory on my side. And as I told you, I would rather that I face the gubernatorial squarely and make sure I put somebody to take over me than to stay thinking about losing the senatorial bid. I'm very popular in the state, extremely popular. But losing an election, so many factors come.
I get you. The countdown has now begun to your exit from office after serving the constitutionally required 2 terms. Which of your administration's project would you call the legacy project, and how do you think you will be remembered?
I've been remembered in a lot of ways. I have affected my people across the divide. I have done very, very well in health. I've done extremely well in water. I've done very well in the healthcare, agriculture, infrastructure. I made sure that everything was evenly touched. Our education were about the worst in the north. We are the worst in the north and about one of the most backward in the whole country. For over 4 to 5 years now, we're #1 in the north, and I'm sure we're between 1, 2, or 3 in the country. The education shot up. When I came here, the education was at 0 level, very, very poor. And now at university, it was between 120, 120 something. We are now 1 to 20 in the country. So I'm proud of the education. I'm proud of water. There was no water. Even in my government house where I lived, for 1 year, I didn't have water supply. They were bringing me water with trucks. Now go everywhere, there is water. Infrastructure, I created roads going from very difficult hinterlands, carrying food to where is needed in the cities. And those ones are virtually finished. We have commissioned some, we are going to commission all the remaining others. I built dual carriageway in the city, in Jalingo, 22 kilometers dual carriageway with 6 pedestrian bridge, with 1 overhead bridge in the city center. That has decongested.
You seem quite pleased and fulfilled with your achievement in the past 7 to 8 years. I'm afraid that's how much time can permit us. Executive Governor, Taraba State, Darius Ishaku, thank you for talking to us.
I am fulfilled, absolutely fulfilled. Thank you.
Well, we wish you all the best, Your Excellency.